Well, what did, no.
So we'll go into, so based on these concerns, we've drafted, I've taken the liberty of drafting an ordinance with specific measures. Sorry.
Hey Janie,
Yep.
do you mind if I put in my 2 cents while you're handing those out? Okay. My name is Anna Nunn. My current residence is, full disclosure, Dyersville, Iowa. However, I'm speaking on behalf of our family fund, specifically Lois, Stephen, and Margaret Doty. And the funds and neighbors assembled here. Some of this stuff will piggyback information off of what Denise Luca said. DNR recommendations are as follows. Code bald eagles and bats, not to build a wind turbine within 1 mile of an established eagle nest or habitat of bats. In addition, the long-eared owl is on the endangered species list and thus far surviving in the area. Once again, it is the DNR's recommendation that wind turbines not be placed in the area where this endangered species is making a comeback. No amount of money or fines imposed on Energy or any other company wanting to build turbines will bring back the loss of wildlife and code. Salvatore reports that anywhere between 20,000 and 500,000 birds die annually because of wind farms. In northern Iowa, where I live, a wind farm was built. This changed the trajectory of the migration patterns of both ducks and geese. As a result, funds that manage a marina around the lake now have to find other resources outside of the natural ones, like those of ducks and geese, to control bugs, especially mosquitoes. Several reports outside of this account agree that farmers that have crops around wind farms have to increase the use of pesticides because the natural means of controlling bugs is not available. This lends to 2 impacts on the environment, not just one. The environmental impact is not limited to birds. Wind farms affect deer populations as well. According to a 2014 article written in the Cadillac News concerning Wyoming and Montana's wind farm impact, it stated that construction of such wind farms will ostracize any wildlife during the course of said construction. Some animals, especially deer, don't come back because of the noise of construction and the wind turbines themselves. Also, reproduction cycles have been altered in deer because of the impact of wind farms. Just think of what it's going to do to cows and pigs. This is just a reminder, but a few short years ago, Iowa County, through donors and taxpayer money, built a nature center at Lake Iowa. It has upgraded its restroom facilities and added 2 cabins. People come from miles around to enjoy the wildlife and outdoor experience Lake Iowa has to offer. Now the scenery is in jeopardy of having monstrous turbines painted. Furthermore, the additions of Coyote Run, Lakeview, and Rhino Ridge all prospered because people wanted out of the city or even the surrounding small towns to enjoy country living. Now those additions will have to deal with monstrous obstructions that are wind farms. It should also be noted that in southern Minnesota, where a friend of mine lives, and she is a nurse, the propensity and tendencies towards migraines increased after the wind farm was built. Energy, to our knowledge, has not had to face inspections or reviews by any local, state, or federal agency in Iowa County. This is unlike any other county where they have built wind farms. Overall, I guess for me, and this needs to be brought about because this morning I got information. I know that the wind farm built up in the Delaware, Clayton, Dubuque County area, the dairy farmers did not want it within a certain mileage, not even feet, a certain mileage of their dairy farms because of milk production and because of reproduction cycles. The other thing is that eminent domain was a factor. So case in point, if my family decided to put one on, they actually would take the property of like the stalls, the mechanics, others around to accommodate the easements. So eminent domain was a factor. They condemned property. Overall, I would appreciate some proactivity and transparency from this board of supervisors. At this point, we do know that you will be retroactive in implementing the matrix for the hog confinements and the lasting impact of your inaction of the county that was produced. This situation could be one where proactivity instead of reaction could mitigate persistent ramifications these wind farms will manufacture.
Back to that 24-hour notice that you need before a supervisor's meeting for special projects. Where do they go?
Anything.
Any supervisor meeting's gotta be published 24 hours a day.
And where are they posted?
If you look at the county website, it's always posted there every week.
It's posted at the courthouse and downstairs.
But you can look on the internet and it has the agenda, who will be here, what the subjects are.
I'm Karen Moss. I can't even hardly be on jury duty. I can see the cell phone. I can't get cell service. The county knows we are in dead zone. 24-hour service. I go to the library about twice a week just to use the internet, okay? A person like me relies on the paper. The other concern I have is how many of these turbines do they plan to put up? I have no idea. And if they're going to, affect our TV and our radio, hey, I rely on that. And if you take it out of them, man, my dad's 95 years old. He had it been better than I do, because that means I'm, I don't have anything.
Nobody's touched on decommissioning.
Carol, I'm gonna get into that.
Yeah, here,
I'm gonna start with the
Okay.
ordinance. We've only got an hour, right? Okay, so we've got 20 minutes, okay, so I'm gonna try to, so this is gonna get into our specific request for an ordinance. So to speak to everybody's concerns, I feel like an ordinance with these measures would protect everybody, the county itself, and all the residents, whether they're participating or not participating. So as Denise mentioned, I believe landowner rights go both ways. I'm not here to say that my neighbor cannot sign up for a wind turbine. He or she has the right to do with his property as they want. But in the same token, my property value, and I shouldn't have to deal with noise or look at them either. My property value shouldn't have to go down as a result of my neighbor's personal decision. So again, landowner rights go both ways. While there are some measures in Energy's contract, as you'll see in my summary that I handed out to you guys, a lot of these things, like the setback distance, the sound levels, yep. A lot of that is not included in their contract. So, the sales reps have given us different information. I feel like they were unethical. They directly lied to us and told us and our neighbors that your neighbors already signed up for this. You might as well get the money if you're gonna look at it. We contacted our neighbors said, no, we didn't sign up for it. So my
I will
point.
say at one time, I know that happened, and I immediately contacted Mark and said, I think there's some misinformation being handed out. But I know
Yeah, so I think
places that have.
if we get an approval process, which I'll talk about later, I think that would address that. But we do need an ordinance, because some of these things, they're not in the contract, it's not written down, and if Energy sold it to Mid-American, which Mid-American already has it in their contract, and I don't have those terms, I don't know what's included in their contract, we need something, because the residents have nothing to fall back on. If there's no, in addition, the participants who did sign the Energy's contract, they waive their right to litigation. They cannot even talk about negative effects either. So, without legal recourse, without an ordinance, we have nowhere to go if something happens. In addition, Energy has breached its contracts in the past, in Wyoming, New York, and Wisconsin. Hence, without a county ordinance, participants, non-participants, and the county itself does not have protection. So, I'm gonna go through these ordinances
mentioned?
Yeah, Jacob Stahl, wife, or Janie's my wife. Thanks for being here, today. Thanks for everyone for coming. So this is, speak a little bit on the decommission policy.
Can I, on your, the ones that you handed out on the ordinances, are you taking each one of those aspects from, that are highlighted there?
Yeah, so, what you see written, I used, the county that came from is in the summary.
Yeah, that's what I mean, so you
Yeah.
want each of those out of those other ordinances?
Yes.
That's, okay.
And, note to the O'Brien County is someone else I was having, does not have.
Right, yeah. I have it.
Okay, yeah, so a little bit on decommission. Sure, Invenergy has their own decommission process policy. I just ask that we kind of come up with our own, you know, perhaps we can intermingle them. So this is an example from, I think, Johnson County that we're kind of proposing, piggybacking off of them. So, the plan to remove turbines, buildings, cabling, anything part of the facility, 6 feet below grade. Facility owner and or operator shall complete the decommissioning process within a year of the facility or the individual wind turbine. We ask that the disturbed earth resulting from the decommissioning process shall be returned to the pre-construction state unless a participating landowner, you know, asks in writing, you know, keep roads or whatever he or she'd like. We propose that an independent licensed engineer be retained to estimate the total cost of the decommissioning process. Said estimate shall be submitted to the board with their initial application and then every 5th year after, you know, cost of living. We propose that the facility owner or operator shall post and maintain decommissioning funds in an amount equal to the total estimated decommissioning cost. And prior to any construction or grading, we ask that 50% of that total estimated cost be provided to the county or set aside in some fund. And then a minimum of 12.5% be posted to the fund every year for the next 4 years until 100% estimated cost is reached.
Kind of like we have to go and go, landfill commission has to have.
Sure.
Just in case,
Okay.
if they go bankrupt or something happens, you better not help liable.
Landfill, has to have some money in the bank.
Yep, that's kind of what we're asking for this project. Failure to comply, either facility owner or operator completes decommissioning within the periods. Then the decommissioning fund agent shall release the decommissioning funds to the county, and the board shall take the necessary steps to get the facility decommissioned. The fund shall be released to the county after a 30-day written notice is provided to the decommissioning fund agent, indicating the decommissioning has not occurred within the applicable period. The release of funds, the decommissioning fund agent shall release the decommissioning funds to the facility owner or operator as applicable when the facility owner or operator has demonstrated and the board concurs that the decommissioning has been satisfactorily completed. That's basically what we got.
I got a quick question on the decommissioning side. Is the Iowa County landfill expected to take in all those wind turbine blades when they're done with them? Or are they gonna get shipped out somewhere?
They just open trash, so now they wouldn't go to a landfill.
Or what are they made out
What
of?
are they made of? Is it recyclable? I mean, or do they just throw that away?
Hazardous material.
So where does that end up? Does it end up in our county, or are they gonna take them out?
I'd like to know how big this proposed site's supposed to be, how many is supposed to be going up? Why don't we let him stand up and tell us? We got a spokesman.
Because,
This
you
is
know,
your time.
he's
This is ours.
scheduled
This
for
is ours.
11:30, so.
Yeah.
This is right.
This is.
I'm back up there, I'm gonna talk about the roads, we need something, maybe a third party to go on these roads, you know, if they get the wind turbines or whatever, go on the road, videotape it. And when they're done with construction, is put that road back to where it was.
I hope there's no construction at all.
We don't want the roads back where they are now.
You know, that way you have an idea of how much damage they did. And some of this stuff, you don't know how long it's gonna take so you can see it. You know, like a culvert, it could crack it. You might not notice it for 5 years. So is there gonna be a limitation on that? Or, because it says in there something that is during the construction part. Well, they can run over a tile and a dry year, couple dry years, then tile might not run. And then you get a wet year and they're flooded. So, you know, can you come back and prove that they did that? You know, you need some regulations in there for that, I guess. And the roads or whatever. But, yeah. And you know, this year is a bad year anyway.
Thanks for letting us know, we haven't heard.
Nobody's noticed
yet.
But, you know, with these hog confinements, you know, that was just basically cement trucks and stuff like that going on there. And you know how they destroyed the roads with those constructions. These are a little heavier equipment going across it, so, yeah. We need to get maybe a third party in here because there was one year we were gonna I worked for a line, we were gonna put a transformer out in the substation north of Blairstown. And the county up there, Benton County, said, you destroyed something, you fix it. So supervisor, and I had a video camera, so he goes, do you mind if I take you up there and you can hold your head out the window and videotape this? And I said, yeah, I can do that. So that's what we did. And that way, whatever damage we did, we knew what we had to put it back to. So.
Can we do that now, like if the state's gonna use one of our roads for detailing, they do that analysis first and then.
Yeah.
Something to note too, is in Benji's contract, it's only damage caused to the road, farmland, tile, here, and construction. So I've heard from other counties that when they come back to do repairs, the county is held liable. And some counties have had to use the tax revenue from the turbines to repair roads, which I don't think is right.
Well, I've heard a story too where they take the wires through and one particular person, I don't know if he lived there or not, or on the ground and lived somewhere else, they went through a dry pond 2 years ago and it's still not fixed. So.
I know that up
And
there.
that could be part of the landlord not saying anything to them, or, but they knew they damaged it, so they should have went back in.
Before, it was said that it's our responsibility to check 24 hours ahead for your meetings. I can kind of go with that. My question is, when you had these Invenergy meetings, did any one of you get on internet and check this company out, or did you go any place? All of us have done our research. There are horror stories out there. There's a dairy family in Wisconsin. Their kids have to live in town now because they can't have the kids on the farm because of the noise. Nebraska just got turbines in 2016. The horror stories that are coming out. Oh yeah, you've got your few that don't hear them, but you have the other ones that say between the shadow flicker and the noise, they have pictures on the wall rattling. Now, how close these are, I don't know. California's dairy herds are going down because they have calves that are not formed right when they are born. I'm a livestock person. That scares me. I'm wondering, all of us have done our research. You guys had 4 or 5 meetings. Did you get on Google? Did you do any research to see what they are? And yes, there's good stories out there, but there is a whole lot more. We have autistic kids in this county. What's this going to do to those kids? What's it going to do to the people who have ringing in their ears? I'm one of those. What's it going to do? You want this? Where headaches and migraines? You want your people to suffer this? Even if it's just one person is uncomfortable. You guys are going to allow that? You're not going to help us as your constituents? And may I remind you, the ones who vote you in? I am asking, I am pleading, please get on the internet and check these stories out. The propaganda for these things it's just amazing. And when I was going out, and yes, I don't want one of these things out there at my house. I can see 30 to 50 from my house, and they're at the borderline of Powachie County at Deep River. I can count 30 lights every night. I can see 30 of them every day. That's too close. Are you guys going to do your research and see what's happening? There are people who talked about it beforehand, and now you approach them. They won't talk about it because they can't. Have you read this contract from one end to the other? Some attorneys say, don't sign. How come some attorneys say yes and some attorneys don't? What is going on? I am not happy that I am not hearing more research from my supervisors. And please, make sure, I want my roads back the way they were. Don't put them back the way they are now because they're crud. It takes me 8 miles farther to get to town. But what are we thinking? Supervisors, we are in your hands. We trust you. You want us to look at your website 24 hours ahead of time to see what you're going to talk about? I read your supervisor minutes in the newspaper. Those Invenergy meetings were not in the newspaper. One, maybe, because that's what drew my attention. But those other ones were not. And yes, Ray, you can tell me I have no control. But you need to do something.
Sure. Okay, so I think one major measure that will address a lot of these issues is the septic system.
Good job.
So we're asking for a half a mile from the non-participant's property line. Most county ordinances have a setback distance from all roads. If you sign up and you want it 600 feet from your house, fine. But from a non-participant, we're asking for a half mile from the non-participant's property lines. The reason being, the UK Noise Association recommends a 1 mile setback distance. You can hear them up to 2 miles away. You can disrupt your sleep up to 1 mile away. You can see them depending on where you are, up to 20 miles away. Obviously, you can see the ones in Deep River, which are only, 10 miles away.
20. Those are 20.
In addition, to the setback distance from non-participant dwellings, also like setback distances from public land, water, buildings, and roads, and utility lines. Those recommendations In addition, we'd like, shadow flicker, Johnson County, another county, has where, a mitigation plan has to be shown beforehand. And that needs to prevent the turbines from, essentially, that we can't rotate during sunrise or sunset or during heavy conditions, to prevent the shadow flicker and the ice swirl. Shadow flicker can be passed 3/4 of a mile, and the ice swirl can, be thrown up to 18 feet away. In addition, we would like an approval process where, there's a public information meeting first, and that needs to, go out so many days, that needs to be in newspapers, and then anybody within a mile of the site needs to be notified by mail. Public information meeting, we would like all government agencies, that they be notified and that they have time to do their preliminary studies, the DNR, local conservation boards, city officials, county officials. Then a public hearing, and then lastly, the board would approve it. So, I understand that you guys have a tough job, I understand that, but it's also very rewarding, you have the opportunity to serve your constituents and protect the county. Like I said, I believe that women are right to go both ways, but I'm just asking that we delay construction until a site plan can be provided with the exact location of all of the sites, the number of turbines, what the, get wildlife studies from the DNR, the Conservation Board. We contacted them, and they've been doing their own, but they said that they were not contacted by Energy. Like it was mentioned before, the DNR has recommendations. We have an eagle's nest a mile south of us. We were told the DNR said that because of migrating birds, they can't be anywhere within, it was like, it covered 4 different townships, how it was going on, kind of by Iowa Lake. Like, yeah, interestingly, Energy signed up people in those areas, and they also signed up people within the 2-mile radius of Windsor city limits. So the point being is, we don't have any regulations, we don't have anything to make sure that they're abiding by these recommendations, to our ordinance. So, lastly, I would just ask, I know that you guys have taken an oath to protect, preserve the rights, privileges, and property of the county and its residents. I believe the county's best interests include things other than money. Includes our welfare, our health, our safety. And I guess I just ask you, like, what does great look like in this situation? If you were a great supervisor, what would you do? So thank you for your time, I appreciate it. If there are any other, anybody else would like to speak?
And I don't know if, talking about the Eagle's Nest or whatever, I don't know if you guys know it, but down on Candy's Place along the English River, somebody down there that lives down there has been watching, and they say it is an active nest. So I don't know if you guys knew that or not. So,
Down there.
yeah.
Jeannie, thank you for the professional way you presented this. And, you kept to the facts. You didn't keep the emotion, and we greatly appreciate that. Yes.
If I could, I'd like to offer a little bit more unique perspective on this than
Hey,
some other
quite
things.
quickly, since you're not on the agenda.
I understand. I'm John Thompson. I'm here as a voter and a taxpayer and resident of Iowa County, but also because we're here, we're the crop dusters. So I'd like to use this format very quickly to emphasize that these things have a greater impact on our business than anybody else in the room. And also, that a neighbor that signs up is going to have a huge impact on his neighbor's ability to take advantage of what we do. We probably couldn't dare work within 2 miles of one of these things. They're extraordinarily dangerous. So I just, a quick reminder that these things have more impacts than just the far-reaching ones. They have an immediate impact on what we can do and on what we can offer to the farmers of Iowa County.
Next on the agenda, we have Mark Ciccone and Scott from Energy. I would ask that, everyone show them the same respect that they showed you, and not interrupt them. And then hopefully they'll answer some questions.
I'm Mark Ciccone, I'm with Invenergy. I live in Harlan, Iowa, which is Shelby County, over on the western side of Iowa. As was stated, I've been over here since, I think it was October or November of 2015 was an introduction of myself to the board. All the meetings I've had have been updates for the last 3.5 years at the board meetings. Usually very quick exchange of information and questions. With me today, I've got our lead developer. His name is Nick Matchin. Nick is with Invenergy out in the Chicago office. Nick will try to address all these issues. I listed a bunch. The supervisors gave me a list of things they wanted to hear us address, and we'll also give you an overview of the project. Along with us today are a couple representatives from Mid-American Energy, Adam Jablonski and Hannah Houlihan. We'll explain the relationship between Invenergy and Mid-American as well. So it looks like we've got an hour. Go ahead, Nick.
As Mark said, my name is Nick. I'm from Energy based out of our Chicago office. We do a lot of our developments in the state of Iowa. Just a little bit about our project first. It's called the Diamond Trail Energy Project. It's based mostly kind of between Williamsburg is kind of the center point of the eastern boundary, and then it goes over the county line, goes a few miles north of I-80, and then kind of the southern point would be the North English River. And one reason we go that far south, I want to address one thing I heard about simply why do we sign up some people where, you know, more is for that kind of area. One reason we do that is because the line we're connecting to is that 345 transmission line that runs by the river. We put up a new substation near there. But essentially each turbine is connected underground via collection line, and then those lines run underground back to the substation. So that's why we sign up land, especially early on. Well, there's two reasons actually. We sign up land early on